and welcome to Sports Africa. In this week's program, in our big question, we ask, does a small Kenyan town hold the secret to distance running? She's a global superstar, but why is Caster Semenya nicknamed the Cobra?
If you mess with the Cobra, you die.
World Cup fever is almost upon us. Tunisia's Radi Jaidi recalls the moment he made history. And we will find out who will be our latest BBC armchair expert. Welcome to Sports Africa, the show that brings you Africa's biggest names from its biggest games. I'm Celestine in Nairobi. Now, if there's one thing my home country is famous for, it's athletics. Kenya has dominated for many years in a variety of races. But did you know that a significant number of Kenyan champions have all spent time in one small place just a few hours away from here? Tucked away in the Rift Valley, Iten is home to just over 6,000 people, an unusual percentage of whom boast Olympic or world titles, sometimes both. In this week's big question, we ask, does a small Kenyan town hold the secret to distance running?
Iten has now become that kind of mecca of athletics, that people really believe that if I go there, my chances are very high.
The most impressive thing here is the group. You see like big groups training together and you see how focused they are, and that's what really inspired me.
Kerio Valley in Kenya's Great Rift Valley, a scenic landscape, but that is not all this region is known for. This sleepy village is the home to world champions.
Iten is a special place whereby so many athletes have excelled who have come from this region. So it's kind of like a tradition whereby when you come to Iten, you have that self-belief that if so-and-so succeeded, if so-and-so trained in this environment, even me, I can do.
Olympic champion Rudisha is one of many top athletes who call Iten home, having moved here to join Brother Com O'Connell. Brother Com moved to Iten over 30 years ago to work as a geography teacher. The Irishman is now more famous for athletics coaching. Over the years, he has produced 4 Olympic gold medalists and 35 world champions in senior and junior competitions. Hi, Brother Com.
Hi,
how
Celestine.
are you?
Fantastic that you come at long last to see what we do and where we are, and to this little village that has produced so much down through the years.
I'm actually trying to see if I can find a secret to Iten.
Yeah, so am I.
Secret to, you've been here so like almost 4 decades.
I'm still looking.
Hundreds have come here in pursuit of athletics glory. Dozens have found it. Kenya has produced 68 world and Olympic champions, and at least 30% are connected to this little town.
Iten had maybe the advantage in having had 2 very significant schools with a tradition for athletics, St. Patrick's High School and Singori Girls. So a lot of the athletes, when the opportunity came, in a sense, drifted back to the place they knew best and use it as a training base. And of course, then out of that came a running culture. The other factors that come in, altitude and climate.
So the secret is beginning to unravel. Iten is nearly 8,000 feet above sea level. At this height, there is less oxygen in the air, so one of the body's hormones known as EPO starts producing more red blood cells. If an athlete then competes at a lower altitude, the production of more red blood cells prevents them from tiring as fast in a race.
Most of the athletes love to train at high altitude, and you can nearly find almost everything in Iten, conducive for training.
Despite the number of world champions based here, there is no high life or a display of wealth that you might find in other sports. These are key qualities to Iten's success, and retired Kenyan-born athlete Lorna Kiplagat has set up a training center that reflects them.
We try not to make Wi-Fi rich in the rooms because athletes need to have enough rest. Most of these athletes, they can have all the luxury in the world. And that's why people who are coming from Europe, they want that simplicity.
In a world full of distractions, foreign athletes have sought this particular facet of life. Plenty have come here, from the biggest names like four-time Olympic champion Mo Farah of Britain to the lesser known, with athletes from countries such as New Zealand, Norway and Switzerland here.
When I came first, I stayed with in a house. There was no water, very few electricity. I have to go to the well to take the water. So yeah, and still now I'm living in a small house.
The Swiss, who says his times have improved, has been inspired by those he trained alongside, as has a rising star of Kenyan athletics.
In
E10, there are many champions like David Rudisha, Agustin Choge, and at times we even train together. This motivates me to want to do well like them in future. I left my home in Kapkitoni, which is quite far from E10, to come here at a time when I was just getting into athletics. My 10-kilometer best was 29 minutes. I have since bettered my time to 27 minutes.
Ronex is closing in on the world record thanks to E10, a place where altitude, schools, monk life existence and inspirational training partners have combined to create a perfect factory for world and Olympic champions. Oh, and hard work too. Now, we asked you on Facebook if there's a special place in your homeland which produces stars. Here are some of the best responses we got. We start with Stephen Konla in Ghana, who says, in boxing, Bukom is a community in Jamestown, Accra, from where lots of both local and international champions hail. For that reason, the previous administration built an extra modern boxing arena of international standards for the community. This in a bid to unearth more boxing talent. From Uganda, Diana Nambalirwa says, here in Uganda, we have good sportsmen and women in both north and northeastern parts like Kapchorwa. These areas have produced athletes like Joshua Cheptegei and Stephen Kiprotich, but due to poor funding, we still lag behind. And finally, Bramo Lawali Nigeria wrote, young football talents are scattered all around the northern part of Nigeria, but most are short of sponsors and scouts. The system is also not working for them to shine. What a shame. I can give you a Lionel Messi from here. Likewise, many Cristiano Ronaldos have been wasted. Time now for our sports quiz, Armchair Expert, the competition where you get to test your sporting knowledge against the rest of the continent. Who will be this week's winner? Let's cross to our referee, Juliet Mafwa in Lagos.
Hello and welcome to the Armchair Experts. The player with the most points after 3 rounds gets to be the Armchair Expert for this week. Let's get to meet the contestants.
My name is Folahon. I'm a lover of beautiful football and sports. I'm here to give you banter and the shaku.
My name is Emmanuel. I'm a lover of sports in general, table tennis, football, whatever it is, and I'm here to beat Fola.
The games are about to begin. Let's kick off with round 1, but first, the rules.
Round 1. It's simple. 30 seconds each to answer as many questions as possible on what's going on in the sporting week.
All right, each player has 30 seconds to answer as many questions as possible. The World Cup fever is officially on, as we know, and we will be looking at the 32 teams vying for glory in Russia, the qualification process, and how they made it to the football showpiece. Are we ready, guys?
Of ready.
Are we ready?
Ready.
Are you ready, Emmanuel?
Ready.
All right, your 30 seconds starts now. Excluding Russia, who was the first nation to qualify for the World Cup?
Spain.
Wrong, Brazil. How many goals did Mo Salah score for Egypt in
5.
qualification? Correct. When was the last time Tunisia qualified for a World Cup?
20 years ago.
Wrong, 2006. Come on. Which former finalist finished third behind France and Sweden to miss out on World Cup qualifications?
No.
Netherlands.
Pass.
All right, your time is up, Emmanuel. You have scored 1 point.
Great.
So we kick off with you, Fola, and of course I want to believe you can top that, right?
Of course.
The 30 seconds starts now. Who won the CONCACAF versus AFC qualification playoff?
The CONCACAF team, pass.
Australia. Who was Nigeria's leading scorer in qualification?
Johnny Gallo.
Wrong. Victor Moses. Who knocked Italy out of qualification?
Pass.
Sweden. Who finished second in Egypt's group for qualification to the World Cup?
Congo.
Wrong. Uganda. And your time is up now, Fola. And you have scored 0 points. Well done still. Now let's look at the scoreboard for what the scores looks like.
As many of you know, the World Cup is just around the corner. Africa is sending 5 teams: Nigeria, Senegal, and North Africans, Egypt, Morocco, and Tunisia. The Tunisians are appearing at their first World Cup since 2006, where they won their last point in a 2-2 draw against Saudi Arabia. Now, players say there is nothing as sweet as scoring for your country at a World Cup. Radhi Jaidi is only one of 8 Tunisians to do just that.
It was a great day. Being involved in the World Cup, be part of the squad that traveled to represent the country is really great, a great feeling. You feel proud of yourself, proud of representing the country. For an experienced player at that moment, I thought, yeah, why not? It would be a goal today through set play, through a corner, through something where I can head it. Obviously, my specialty is to head the ball, so something where I can, smash the ball in the goal with my header. So my feeling was, I think I'm gonna get it. I think I have a goal today. You know you're 2-1 down, and you know that you shouldn't lose that game, and you shouldn't concede, 2 sloppy goals. There was like 6 minutes to go, and I had to take a decision, which was, go up front and try to challenge their defenders. I didn't want our first World Cup match to end up with a defeat. A ball from Karim Hagi again into the edge of the box, and then I flick it to Ziad Jaziri, who's quick and the one who can win the second ball, with a cross in the box and me coming from behind and head it into the goal. Ziad! Yes, Ziad! As the ball goes to the side, I start to shout on Ziad to cross it for me. Ziad! Ziad! Because that's the only options we had, is to go get the ball back around the 6-yard box. I took my time to assess the height of the ball and then attacked it. When I attacked it, I know because I felt the power of the header, and I just barely saw the goalkeeper reacting, but I know the ball is going in the net. I didn't even follow the ball. I turned to celebrate because I know that was the goal. That was my last goal I scored. That was a point that Tunisia earned in the World Cup. And I think that was my sporting moment.
Did you know that Tunisia were the first African team to win a match at the World Cup? That was way back in 1978. The problem is, it was their last win at the tournament. Can they put that right this year? They begin their campaign against England on June 18th. That's the end of part 1. When we return, South Africa's Caster Semenya reveals why her social media accounts are important to her. This is Sport Africa from the BBC. Welcome back to the BBC's Sport Africa. Now, her athletics career may have been dogged by controversy, but Caster Semenya has put all that to one side as the South African has collected a host of Olympic and world titles. In this week's Who Am I, the 800-meter star lifts the lid on the things that really matter to her.
.800 meters is my favorite. That's what I'm best at. Maria Mutola, if you look, she's a queen of 800 meters. I've looked up to her. You know, I'm trying to follow the footsteps. So she's my idol. She's my role model. So she's everything that I've ever imagined. Germany, because I've won my first title in Berlin in 2009. Basketball has got this crazy, you know, movement, you know, the dunks, the blocks, you know, the fouls, errors, you know, the emotions, you know, how the players, you know, react, you know, through the referees and stuff like that. Crazy moments. Instagram is the best because I get to post my beautiful, you know, pictures, you know, the codes. You know, that's how I communicate with the world without, you know, saying anything. I just post the code, I'll post my picture, you know, the picture says it all. So yeah, Instagram. Because I'm untouchable. My motto, it's more for I'm a danger, you know, to my opponents. You know how I inject my last 200s. You know, it's something like if you mess with a cobra, you die. So I believe in that. So yeah, cobra is because I'm quite fast in my last 200. So the injection.
Impressive lady there, waiting to see where the cobra strikes this year. Time now for round 2 of Armchair Expert. Let's rejoin Juliet in Lagos.
Okay, so let's go straight into round 2. This round is called Convince Me, and here is how it works.
Round 2, Convince Me. You each have 15 seconds to argue for or against. 2 points are up for grabs.
This week's topic is FIFA should allow more than 5 African nations to qualify for the World Cup. So, Emma, you going for, and Fola, you going against?
Of course.
Emma, your 15 seconds starts now. Convince me.
Definitely, I think that FIFA should allow more than 5 teams from Africa to compete at the World Cup. That gives, you know, all the lesser nations, you know, a chance to be able to rub shoulders with the biggest boys in the world. And who knows, anything can happen. It's the World Cup. Remember...
All right, Emma, that's 15 seconds. Done. So fast. Okay, Fola, I want to believe you can top that, right?
Of course I will.
So convince me.
All right, in the coefficient for qualifying for the World Cup in Africa, no team has ever gone past the quarterfinal stage at the World Cup. And we only see in Africa that teams always do not go on to play their matches and their walkovers, and we have teams awarded points just because other teams do not.
15 seconds is up, Fola. And at the end of this round, is there some heartbeats there?
Of course.
Okay, Emmanuel, you've been able to convince me, and that's because you said more teams have to get in. There's been a shout for more teams to get in, more African nations to get in, and who knows? We've seen the underdogs. So you've been able to convince me, and you have 2 points. So Emmanuel has raced into the lead in round 2, but there's still one more round to navigate, and let's see what happens in round 3 later on the show.
Let's go back to the World Cup, and in this year's finals in Russia, Nigeria will face Iceland, Croatia, and none other than Argentina yet again. Most goalkeepers would dread facing Lionel Messi, but not Ikechukwu Ezenwa. The 29-year-old will be at his first World Cup, and when he's not facing Messi, he will probably be leading the singing.
My dad was a footballer then, but football was not paying. And then when I was growing up to be a footballer, he didn't agree. He wants me to go to school. But for the love I have for the game, I was so determined that I'm going to be a star. When I started playing, I watched the games the Super Eagles normally play. During the US 94, I was a kid, Olympic 96, and every other Sydney 2000. Seeing that green and white gives me, as in strength, that one day I will be there. One thing I believe, the most important thing, you have to believe in yourself and also make other people believe in you. How are they going to believe in you? It's what you do in the field of play. My big dream to come true is to play against Lionel Messi because I think he's a wonderful player. In my own way, I think I know what it takes to play against a great star like Messi. And I've started the preparation, I've watched most of his clips, and I know I'm carrying on my shoulder 180 million Nigeria, and I have to stop him. And for me to stop him makes me a special one in that game because I think once I stop it, the whole 180 million Nigeria will jubilate for the victory. It's a big joy to every footballer playing in the World Cup for your beloved country. And I think Russia, I can't wait. I can't wait to be there. I'm preparing very well because I know this is one of the biggest festive period in football. In every player's dream, you want to play in the World Cup. So I think 100% focus. And I think by the grace of God, I'll go there in Russia, make this great country, Nigeria, proud.
Well, Ike is relishing the chance to meet Messi, the 5-time World Player of the Year. So we wondered if you could give him some tips. And this is what you had to say.
Obviously, there's no practical or tactical way I can stop Lionel Messi on the pitch, except if I foul him or distract him. Now, as a Nigerian player, I'd already planned with all my teammates that any opportunity they just see me and him one-on-one with the ball, everybody should just stop what they're doing and start dancing to any song. In fact, they should be dancing to any song in their head.
How to stop Lionel Messi? It's by these following ways: packing the bus with high press up or using man marking. A lot of teams try to zone mark Lionel Messi in a way to curtail his usefulness of the ball and hurting the opposition. We should just pray it's one of those days he's having a bad day like the last World Cup, which he didn't show up against Germany. Thank you very much.
First thing I would do is to go and visit my juju man, get some supernatural powers against him so I can be as inhuman as he is. And basically I just hope that the juju works and so you can have a bad day.
Interesting tips. We'll wait to see if Ike will take any of it to heart at this year's World Cup. Before we go, who is going to win this week's Armchair Expert? Time to return to that big yellow chair and Juliet in Lagos.
It's the third and final round. Two aspiring experts with Emmanuel on 3 points and Fola on 0 points. Let's begin round 3 and here are the rules.
Round 3, the quickfire decider. 45 seconds to push up your score. Remember, shout your name before you answer or you'll lose out.
So 45 seconds and your time starts now. Which tennis Grand Slam is played first in the calendar year?
Australian Open.
Correct. What color is the bull's eye in Olympic archery?
Pass.
Pass. Gold. In what sport was Floyd Patterson a professional athlete and world champion? Fola?
Golf.
Wrong. Pass. Boxing. Who did Zinedine Zidane headbutt during the 2006 World Cup final against Italy? Fola?
Marco Materazzi.
Correct. Which city hosted the 2004 Olympic Summer Games?
Athens.
Correct. The Liberty Stadium is home to which football club?
Fola. Sunderland.
West Ham.
Wrong. Swansea City. Which European side did FIFA name Club of the Century in 2000?
Real Madrid.
Correct. And that means Fola is this week's BBC Sports Africa Armchair Expert. Congratulations, Fola.
Thank you, thank you.
Now come have your seat on the armchair throne. What a comeback, right?
Congratulations, Fola. The armchair expert is always exciting, isn't it? Don't forget, you can get in touch about anything you've seen on the show via Facebook or Twitter, where you can also watch some of the pieces again. In case you want a bit more, the BBC Sport website has all the latest news, including the build-up and analysis to the World Cup. I'm Celestine Carone in Nairobi. Until next time, goodbye.